Dear friends, do you think getting rich is all about numbers, spreadsheets, or just being lucky? Think again. This video will completely change how you see money. Inspired by one of the most powerful financial books ever written, The Psychology of Money, we'll dive into real stories, timeless lessons, and surprising truths about how our emotions, habits, and decisions shape our wealth. This is not just about money. This is about your mindset, your future, and your freedom. So, if you're ready to unlock the secrets of building true wealth not just in your bank account, but in your life, stay with me till the end. Let's begin the journey. Money is everywhere. It rules our dreams, guides our decisions, and even controls how we measure success. But here is a truth that most people never pause to realize: having money is one thing, understanding it is something else entirely. This book, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, is not about how to pick stocks or where to invest your savings. It is about something far more important and much more powerful: how you think about money, how you feel about it, and how your emotions and decisions shape your financial life more than any expert ever could. Think of two people walking through the same city. One sees opportunity and abundance. The other sees risk and danger. They pass the same buildings, see the same ads, hear the same news, yet they live in two different financial realities. Why? Because their stories about money are different. One might have grown up in poverty, never feeling secure. The other might have inherited wealth and only known comfort. The way they spend, save, or invest is not just about facts or intelligence. It is about emotion, memory, fear, hope. Money is never just money. It is safety. It is status. It is freedom. It is guilt. It is love. For some, it is the chance to break a cycle. For others, it is the pressure to live up to an image. And for most people, it is all of these things at once. Morgan Housel invites us to look beyond the surface to explore how our childhoods, our traumas, our dreams, and even the people we admire shape our behavior with money. And most importantly, he shows us why being good with money is not about being smarter than others. It is about being calmer, more consistent, and more self-aware. This book is full of eye-opening stories about janitors who quietly became millionaires, about rich people who lost everything because they chased too much, about investors who made fortunes simply because they stayed patient. You will not find formulas or hacks here. Instead, you will find truths, raw, honest truths that will change the way you look at wealth and success forever. Because in the end, money is not about how much you have. It is about how you think, how you behave, and how you choose to live. So let us dive into the timeless lessons from The Psychology of Money, told through real-life stories and emotional reflections, lessons that can transform not just your bank account, but your entire approach to life. The Psychology of Money. The first principle is 1. No one's crazy, everyone has a story. Imagine two people walking into the same investment seminar. One listens carefully, takes notes, and leaves convinced that putting money into the stock market is a smart, long-term decision. The other listens with quiet fear. Stocks remind them of the 2008 crash, of losing their job, their home, their sense of security. To them, investing sounds like gambling. Neither person is crazy. They are simply living in different financial realities. We all carry invisible money stories shaped by our past, stories passed down by parents, influenced by the neighborhoods we grew up in, or written in moments of crisis we never forgot. Morgan Housel reminds us that the way we behave with money is not about logic alone. It's about memory. If you were born in the 1970s, inflation was your fear. If you grew up in the tech boom, you believed in endless growth. If you saw your family suffer during a recession, financial security might mean more to you than any return on investment. There's a man named Ronald Reed, a janitor who spent most of his life fixing cars and sweeping floors. No one paid him much attention. But when he died, he left behind over $8 million. He had quietly saved and invested, never showing off, never chasing status. He lived simply. His life told one story about money: discipline, patience, and peace. Contrast that with someone like Richard Fuscone, a former executive at Merrill Lynch. He had education, power, wealth, yet filed for bankruptcy after living a lifestyle he could not sustain. The message is clear: how you behave matters more than what you know. And your behavior is shaped by your story. We must stop judging others for their financial decisions and start understanding their perspective. No one's crazy. We're just different. 2. Luck and risk, the invisible forces. In the world of money, success is often praised as skill, and failure is blamed as foolishness. But Morgan asks us to pause and look deeper. Consider this: Bill Gates, one of the richest men alive, got his start at a school that just happened to be one of the few in the world with a computer in the 1970s. It gave him access to something rare, something powerful. But what if he had attended a different school? His friend Kent Evans, just as smart and ambitious, never got that chance. He died in a climbing accident as a teenager. Luck and risk, twin forces, shaped their futures in ways no textbook could predict. You may be hardworking and brilliant, but luck can push you forward or hold you back. Risk can undo the best plan. That doesn't mean success isn't deserved or failure is your fault, it means life is more complex than we think. Be kind to those who fall. Be humble if you rise. 3. Never enough, the danger of more. There's a haunting story in the book The Story of Rajat Gupta. A brilliant man who rose from nothing to become a business icon, respected across the world. He had wealth. He had power. But he wanted more. In search of greater riches, he got involved in insider trading and ended up in prison. He already had everything he needed. Yet he wanted more. Why? Because more is a trap. There's always someone with a bigger house, a faster car, a flashier lifestyle. But chasing that comparison leads to endless dissatisfaction. Imagine running a race with no finish line. That's what happens when you don't define what enough means for you. Housel writes, enough is not too little. Enough is realizing you could lose it all and still be okay. True wealth is knowing peace. 4. The power of compounding, the long game. Picture a small snowball at the top of a hill. It rolls, slowly at first. But with time, it gathers more snow. It gets bigger, faster, stronger. That's compounding. Now consider Warren Buffett. Many people know he's one of the richest men in history. But fewer realize this: more than 90% of his wealth came after his 60th birthday. Not because of some magical late strategy, but because he started investing as a teenager and never stopped. The magic wasn't in the stock picks. It was in the time. Most people underestimate what small gains can become if they're left to grow over decades. A few thousand saved each year, over time, can build a fortune. But it requires patience. It requires belief. It requires resisting the temptation to touch, move, or panic. Compounding is not just a financial strategy. It's a mindset of trust in the long journey. 5. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. It's exciting to talk about becoming rich, building a business, taking risks, making bold moves. But fewer people talk about how to stay rich. Getting wealthy often requires optimism, confidence, and daring action. But staying wealthy demands humility, caution, and protection. Take the story of Jesse Livermore. In the 1929 stock crash, he made a fortune by predicting the market collapse. He was hailed as a genius. But years later, he lost it all. And his life ended in tragedy. He didn't know how to protect what he had. Staying rich means not letting ego drive your decisions. It means knowing when to stop, when to hold, when to say, this is enough. Wealth is not built in a day and it can vanish in one. 6. Save even without a reason. Most people think saving is only for goals: a car, a house, retirement. But Housel says the smartest savers are the ones who save just because. Why? Because life is unpredictable. Emergency expenses don't ask if you're ready. Opportunities don't wait for your plan. The best moments in life often come without warning, and those who are prepared can say yes. Savings are not just about spending later. They are about freedom. Imagine this: your boss mistreats you. But you have 6 months of expenses saved. You can walk away. That's not just money. That's power. 7. Wealth is what you don't see. We live in a world obsessed with display. Instagram, luxury brands, exotic vacations. Everyone wants to look rich. But real wealth, it's quiet. It's hidden. It's the money you don't spend. The cars you don't buy. The upgrades you skip. When someone buys a Rolex, they're spending money, not building wealth. The flashy lifestyle may impress others, but it often hides financial insecurity. Ronald Read, the janitor who died a millionaire, never looked rich. But he was free. He was safe. He was wealthy. Let go of the need to show. Focus on the need to grow. 8. Reasonable is better than rational. You don't need to be perfectly logical with money. You just need to make decisions that are reasonable ones you can stick to. It's not irrational to keep some cash under your mattress. It might give you peace of mind. It's not foolish to pay off a low interest loan early. It might help you sleep better. Money is emotional. If your plan is emotionally sustainable, you'll stay on track longer, and that's what truly matters. 9. You will change. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago. And you won't be the same person 10 years from now. That's why it's dangerous to lock yourself into financial commitments based on today's desires. Be flexible. Leave space to grow. Maybe you love your job now, but one day you might want to slow down, travel more, or start a business. Your financial life should have options, not restrictions. 10. The true power of money control over time. More than anything, money gives you control over your time. To wake up when you choose. To spend the day how you want. To say no when something doesn't feel right. That's the real goal. Not luxury. Not status. But freedom. A rich life is not full of things. It is full of choices. Final message: wisdom over wealth. In the end, the psychology of money does not ask you to chase numbers. It invites you to chase meaning. Money is a mirror. It reflects your fears, your dreams, your habits. But if you can understand your relationship with it, if you can grow not just financially but emotionally, then you will be truly rich. Wealth is not built in numbers. It is built in wisdom. So start today, not with perfect knowledge, but with deep self-awareness. Invest in your mind. Trust in time. Save not just for tomorrow but for a future full of freedom and peace. And if this journey has inspired you to think deeper, live freer, and build true wealth, support our mission. Subscribe to our channel. Share this wisdom. Let's grow together. Because knowledge shared is wealth multiplied. And your journey is just beginning. Thank you.